Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, to His only begotten Son, Yahushua, who the world and called Jesus Christ. It's your brother, Guy Sean, coming at you with a sit-down. It's been a while since I did a sit-down type lesson, but this has been brewing in my spirit for quite a while now, so I thought it was expedient to get it out there as soon as possible, and Lord willing, it edifies and exhorts the brothers and sisters to stay in the spirit in these trying times that we're in, right? So, as you can see by the title, I'm more than likely I'm going to title it "Say What You Mean and Do What You Say," and we're going to go into why I'm titling it that way, or why I'm expressing these sentiments, right? And some of y'all may have caught on already, but I'm just going to go through it still, right? So this is the book of Matthew chapter 12 and verse 36. But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment. So every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment. Meaning, every word or every thought that you speak with consideration, speak with thought. Don't just say things without thinking about them. Don't just blurt things out without taking consideration into them. Everything that you say or every word that you speak should be spoken after much consideration, because you don't know what your actions or your words are going to lead people to do, or you don't know what your actions or your words may cause people to do, right? And speaking of that, actually, that just brought a precept to mind, and I believe it's Ezra or Wisdom of Solomon. If I can find it soon, that'll be great. Yep, Sirach 28, and I believe it is 18. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 28 and verse 18. Many have fallen by the edge of the sword, but not so many as have fallen by the tongue, right? So many have fallen by the edge of the sword, but not as much as have fallen by the tongue. As many people as get killed by gun violence, what incites those gun violence? Thoughtless words spoken without thought. Words spoken without much thought into them. Words that are spoken without much consideration. You're just blurting out words in the heat of the moment. You're just saying stuff without considering what the ramifications, what it could be that you're saying, and that causes death, right? That's literally why there's a law in Leviticus that you shall not go up tale-bearing or gossiping, which is done with what? Words, with your tongue, because it could cause strife, it can cause discourse, right? We see multiple verses in the Bible talking about how the Most High God hates feet that are quick or roughly paraphrasing, feet that are quick to shed innocent blood, and those that sow discord among brethren, right? You do that through your words, you do that through your actions. So we have to become much more aware of the words that we speak and the effect that it has on our brethren, right? Because whatever you say can invoke his spirit, right, on a brother, right? And let me get this in Proverbs 18 just to double down on it, right? That's the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, and what is it, 21? It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 18 and verse 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Salakia. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof, right? So death and life are in the power of the tongue. You bring ruin or you bring destruction upon yourself through what? Through your tongue, through the words that commodity, through the words that you speak. Because what a man thinketh that he believeth, and what a man thinketh that he shall speak, right? That's why Christ always tells us to what? Wash our mind, to cleanse our mind. Because if your innards are filled with clean thoughts, then clean things are going to proceed from you. But if your innards are filled with filthy thoughts, then filthy thoughts are going to proceed from you. Reckless thoughts are going to proceed from you. That's why we meditate on the law day in and day out, so we can wash our mind. So what proceeds out of us is the law, because that's what we're thinking. Right now, we've ingested the word of the Most High God, we've internalized it, and we meditate on it. Now it becomes our source. And now we spew that out. We spew the word of the Most High God out. But a person that hasn't taken heed to the word of the Most High God, all he spews out is folly, ignorance, and babble, right? Confusion, right? So we got to become more aware of the words that we say and the effect that it has on other people, because as Proverbs says, life and death are in the power of the tongue. Whether you bring ruin to a man, whether you exhort a brother to motivate him, it's in the power of the tongue. Or whether you chop down a brother, it's in the power of the tongue. So life and death are in the power of the tongue, and you might unconsciously or consciously be doing it, destroying your brother through your words, right? And that is something we don't want to do, right? Because we're going to have to give an account of that, as it says in Matthew 12. We're going to have to give an account of that in the day of judgment. So we can't just be saying stuff willy-nilly without careful consideration, right? We have to meditate in what we're saying. We have to make sure the words that we're saying to each other are provoking each other to good works. We have to make sure that deeds that we're doing, or the words that we're saying, are after careful thought, right? Now, does that mean you should tiptoe around brothers? No, but it should invoke sort of circumspectness, if that's a word, around brothers, to where they're not just saying words in the heat of the moment, right? Or they're not just saying words right then and there based off of what they feel, but after much consideration, then they're giving their thoughts, right? The scripture is filled with moments like, just to give an example, roughly paraphrasing the verse, hear a matter first before you respond. The scripture is filled with not giving an answer in the heat of the moment. The scripture is filled with that. Hearing the matter first, meditating on the matter first, hearing two sides of the matter and then weighing it. The scripture is filled with a wisdom like that, that the principle of it is being circumspect, and after much consideration then giving your decision, or after much consideration then speaking. So we will be fools to not apply it in our lives and just going off of what we feel in the heat of the moment, which could change, right? Which the heart of man is fickle. It's ever changing and it's never stable. The only time our heart is going to be stable is when the Most High God put the laws in our heart forever, right? So with that, we got to strive to say what we mean and mean what we say, right? So I'm just going to jump to, Ecclesiastes. Give me 1 second. If I can find it without using the search engine, that'd be great. But the law's not in my heart. The scriptures are not all the way in my heart yet. So I gotta, let's see. Right, that's Ecclesiastes 5:4. When thou vowest the vow unto God, defer not to pay it, for he have no pleasure in fools. Pay that which thou hast vowed, right? So when you vow, you're speaking with your words. You're making a vow. You're saying words to the Most High God, right? So when you say those words, you live by them, right? And by that same respect, words that you speak to your brethren, right, should carry that same weight. That's why Christ tells us not to swear by heaven. Let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. Your words, you should be so consistent with your words that you say yes to somebody, they take you at your word because you've never given them a reason to, right? You should be so consistent with your words that when you tell a brother you're going to do something, they're like, it's as good as done. Word is bond, as New Yorkers like to say, right? Word is bond. You should be so consistent with your word that when you say something, it's as good as done, right? This is how the Most High God is. When he promises something, when he tells us he's going to give us from the Nile to the Euphrates, he says as good as done. Because throughout history, we've never seen him go back on his word. So we are to be perfect like our Father, which Christ commanded us, right? So when we vow, we got to pay it. And when Christ tells us, let your yea be yea and your nay be nay, that's not to say, oh, you can't swear, or, you can't swear, or you have to, your words aren't as heavy enough that you have to swear. No, your words should be, your character should be of a sound mind, so much so that you shouldn't have to swear by the heavens. Your yea and your nay should be enough to for people to believe you, right? You shouldn't have to be like, oh, my mama did it. No, you shouldn't have to do that. Oh, yeah, I did it. Okay. Well, I know that he's a man of sound character, sound judgment, who says what he means and does what he says. So his yea is yea, his nay is nay. I'm going to take him at that. This is how we should be as a nation, right? So those are the two aspects that I want to tackle, right? Not speaking in the heat of the moment and being circumspect, all right? And saying what we mean and doing what we say, being consistent in character with our words, right? Let me get this in, what is it? Proverbs 22 and 1, I believe. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 1. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor than silver and gold. So a good name is above riches, is above gold, is above silver, right? But our people don't have a good name right now because we haven't been consistent. We vowed a vow to the Most High God that we're going to keep His commandments. We entered into a covenant with Him, right? But our good name isn't good right now because we aren't of sound character. We didn't keep the commandments, and here we are, right? Our good name Yasharallah, which was only going to be extolled based on a covenant that we entered into the Most High God, is being dredged to the mud right now because we aren't of a consistent character with our words. Our words said we were gonna do all that the Most High God commanded us, but our actions said we're doing everything but what the Most High God commanded us. But we've entered into a covenant, right? So we can see this lesson all throughout the scriptures that we as a people, our words, for the most part, have not been consistent with our actions, right? And that is a problem with our nation. Even me right now, I'm struggling with it, right? I'm sure we all struggle with it. We have to make no excuses, come back to Most High God, and make sure that our words match our actions. What we say we're going to do, we do, right? So much so to the point that when you say you're going to do something for a brother, it's as good as done. You shouldn't have to swear. Matter of fact, I keep quoting it so much. Let me get it. It's Matthew 5 and 30. What is it? 37. I'm gonna start at verse 34. But I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is God's throne, nor by the earth, for it is His footstool, neither by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great King. Neither shalt thou swear by thy head, because thou canst not make one head white or black. But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay, for whatsoever more than these is evil. Whatsoever more than these is evil. Whatever more you say than yeah is evil, because now you're adding to it, and God forbid you don't fulfill it. Now your good name is brought through the mud, right? But it shouldn't get that far. Your name should be of a sound character that when you say, yeah, I'm going to do this, it's as good as done, right? We ought to be like our Father, who's never broken a promise to us. He said He was going to make us the greater nations contingent on us fulfilling the commandments, right? And He said He was going to put us in slavery contingent on us not fulfilling the commandments, and He may get on both those promises, right? Although all the prophecies that He gave the prophets to do, for the most part, they've been coming to pass. So obviously we have a couple more prophecies left, but as surely as all those other prophecies that has been fulfilled that He gave, these prophecies are going to be fulfilled as well. So He's never broken a promise. And we, like our Father, have to be men of our word, right? What we say, or women of our word, or children of our word. We should be teaching our children to be on their word too, right? So whatever more than these is evil. Let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. Let it be simple and do it, right? Don't be like, oh, I swear I did this, or I swear I'm gonna do this, or I swear I got you next week. No, I got you next week, and you see the brother next week and you got him, right? Don't make any excuses. Don't keep tarrying, right? This is the problem with our people. We say things and we make excuses as to why we can't fulfill them, and then our name is brought through the mud, right? That's the characteristic of us as a nation, what we've been exhibiting all throughout the annals of time, as we see in the scriptures. We've said things that we did not fulfill, right? Now, matter of fact, I'll bring this scripture out in the highways and byways to show the counting of the cost, right? And it's my favorite scripture to bring to a person or a brother that comes up that's wanting to start this labor, right? But I'm going to tackle a different aspect of it through the Spirit right now, right? So this is Luke 14 and what is it? I'm going to start at verse 27. And whosoever doth not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. For which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient funds to finish it? Lest haply he have laid the foundation and not be able to finish it. Behold, and all that behold it begin to mock him, right? So that ties back into not having a good name. We are mocked for not having a good name, right? You say something, but you don't consider it what it is you're saying. You don't consider, okay, I said I was going to do this for this brother. Do I have the sufficient means to actually do this for this brother? but you don't. Now the time comes for you to fulfill what you said you were going to do to the brother, but you didn't. Now everybody that's walking by is going to mock you. Why? Because you said something and you didn't consider the cost of what it is you were saying to that brother. Or you say you were going to do something for that brother or that sister or whoever it may be. You didn't consider the cost of what it was going to take to do that for that brother or that sister. And you said it not knowing what it was going to cost you. And now when it's time for you to fulfill it, you can't fulfill it. Right? That's why Christ said, let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. But also the other aspect of it is being circumspect enough to understand if you can fulfill that yea or you cannot fulfill that yea. So it's going to be yea or nay predicated on whether or not you can fulfill it or not. And that takes careful consideration to count the cost of whether or not you can fulfill that or not. Right? So we just have to be more circumspect. We just have to be more circumspect. We just have to be people of our words, standing on, as people like to say in the words these days, we just have to be 10 toes. Right? We just have to be on business. We just have to stand on business, right? And the business is the word of the Most High God, right? And that word of the Most High God, matter of fact, let me get it in Isaiah. Or First Kings. I don't know why I thought it was in Isaiah. Give me 1 second. This is the book of First Kings, chapter 2 and verse 1. Now the days of David drew nigh that he should die, and he charged Solomon his son, saying, I go the way of all the earth, be thou strong thereof. Therefore ensure thyself a man, and keep the charge of the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, to keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of David, that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest, whithersoever thou turnest thyself. Right? So that's how we show ourselves to be men, keeping the commandments of the Most High God, standing on that. Right? Letting our word be yea, letting our words match our actions, yea or nay, right? And being circumspect enough to understand whether or not we can fulfill that yea or not. And being circumspect enough to understand whether or not we can fulfill that yea or whether or not we can't fulfill that yea, right? And let it be yea or nay. And also being circumspect enough to understand that our words have ripple effects, right? Or there's effects to our words, right? As we brought out in Proverbs, life and death is in the power of the tongue. The tongue has a lot of power. A lot of people have died because of the tongue, because of false words that were said at the wrong time, or because of misclarification of the words that were said, or because of words that were said in the heat of the moment. A lot of people have lost their lives because of false communication. So we as brothers, we have to understand that and be circumspect and understand that our words do have consequences. Our words do have effects on people, right? And what effects, and we have to come back to ourselves and understand, okay, what effects do I want my words to have on my brethren, on my sisters, on my children, right? We have to be very circumspect in the words that we say, right? Because words, matter of fact, let me go here. This just came to me. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4. What is it, verse? I'm going to start at verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and commandments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which I hear these statutes, and say, surely this is a wise and understanding nation. Slakia, and surely this great nation is a wise and understanding nation, understanding people, right? So keep that in mind. And then we're going to jump to Deuteronomy 4 and, 6 and what? Verse 7, right? This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 7. And thou shalt teach them the dumb as the laws diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, when thou risest up. So a very big part of what makes us a great nation is teaching, edifying, right? Speaking these laws to our people, right? So that is the life that's in the power of the tongue. So we have to be careful that when we're speaking life into our people, when we're raising life into our people, we speak it in a manner where the life doesn't get misconstrued because our people have been destroyed. And likewise, when we're speaking to our own brethren, when we're speaking life into them, right? When we're speaking to them, we want to provoke them to life. We want to provoke them to good works, as the scripture says, right? So we have to keep that in mind. What makes us a great nation is our ability to speak life into our people, our ability to teach these laws, statutes, and commandments. And part of teaching that, or a big part of teaching that the laws to our people, is the ability to speak it to our people, right? That's a big form of communication. We have to communicate these laws to our people. So life and death is in the power of the tongue, and we have to be circumspect in how we teach that life to our people. Otherwise, the other side of that is death, right? So we want to be very circumspect in the words that we're saying to our people. We want to be very circumspect in our delivery to our people, right? And we want to be very circumspect in ourselves, how we speak to our brethren and our children, provoking them to good works. All right, so I hope with that, brothers and sisters, been edified. This is just a quick lesson that's been on my spirit. Lord willing, brothers and sisters took some wisdom from it to apply to themselves in these trying times that we're living in. All right, so with that, I say shalom and mawaf labubal.